Welcome to the Late Night Charge! Tonight on the show, we have University of New Haven President Stephen Kaplan with a musical performance by James Zapp. Now, welcome the hosts of the Late Night Charge, Dave Puglisi and Joe Brown.
Hello, and welcome to this very special episode of the Late Night Charge. I'm your host, Joe Brown.
And I'm Dave Puglisi. And now some of you might be wondering why Joe and I have such magnificent facial hair right now.
Well, it's officially November, Dave, so of course that means it's time for No Shave November.
I mean, I feel like a grizzly bear. Like, I'm pretty scruffy, Joe, but, you know, it will work out. It will be okay. By the end of it, I'm going to look like George Clooney.
You
like,
say it?
Minus the gray hairs, of
I
course.
think the gray hairs will look good with the gray suit. We'll see what I'll check back with you.
I'll get a touch of gray going.
Well, Dave, we're doing this for a great cause. The Late Night Charge has officially made a donation page for the American Cancer Society. Our current goal is $100, but as we get closer to the goal every time, we're going to up the ante. So we're trying to raise money for men's health and cancer research. If you want to help us fight cancer, go to acsevents.org/go-to/late night charge.
So, Joe, you know, we're not the only ones participating in No Shave November here on The Charge. A lot of people behind the scenes are as well.
Yeah, for example, we have our humble director, Chris Schnabel. He always has some nice, facial hair going.
Real solid beard right now. Like, really has potential to be great.
It's not just the guys. We have us. And
It's not.
Chris.
It's not.
It's not the guys rocking some sweet facial hair. I saw a couple girls backstage rocking some serious face lettuce. Check out camerawoman Leah.
Wow, Leah has some
She's
unreal beard right
letting
now.
it go.
It's nice.
Our audio technician, Kate, she has a very solid beard.
Kate has really let herself go on this one. It's pretty
bad.
bad.
She has taken No Shave November way too seriously.
Way too seriously.
And last but not least, I think I saw our teleprompter worker, Alex, in support of Movember.
Holy stash, Batman. That is impressive. Like, unreal. I could never do anything like that.
Yeah, I can't even imagine having a stash like that.
Unreal. But look, let me tell you, if you have a great beard, you need to tweet it at us at the Late Night Charge, #LetItGrow. Not to be confused with Let It Go.
Well, speaking of Let It Go, Dave, big news story. We always seem to have something dealing with Frozen. A 31-year-old woman from Japan is divorcing her husband because he doesn't like the movie Frozen.
You know what, Joe? What I don't understand about this whole thing is, like, if you didn't like the movie, Disney movie Planes, like, I get it. Like, it was okay. It wasn't the best. It wasn't no cars, I can tell you that. But Frozen is an Academy Award-winning movie, Joe. Unreal movie. And how could you just knock it like that?
I think you're getting way too worked up about Frozen.
I'm just telling you, is Academy Award winning.
So you're saying that it's okay for the woman to divorce her husband because the husband thought Frozen was okay.
Dude,
and not
I'm
amazing?
just saying that it's on the same page as other Academy Award winners like The Departed and Titanic.
I want to see a Departed version of Frozen. That's what I want to see.
That'd be pretty cool. We'll get Matt Damon on it.
Well, I hope he can sing. Let's get back to the story. So this woman divorces him, saying unreconcilable differences because he doesn't like Frozen. She's currently living with her parents at their house. Reports say that she's having her parents talk to the husband to try to change his mind. And he says that one day if this all, calms down, he would be able to accept her back. But as of right now, she just can't let it go.
Wow. You know what? I would... I don't even know what to say about this, man. This is ridiculous. You're moving back into your parents because your husband doesn't like Frozen, dude. I can't even defend
You just changed arguments so quick.
I can't even change like before.
Now, have I made you realize the error of your ways?
I mean, at the beginning, on the surface, it seemed like, how could you be so upset? But the whole thing just got way out of hand. Kind of like this monologue.
Tell me about it. All right. So, are you ready for an amazing fact that you had no idea?
Is it the sky's blue, Joe? Is it?
No, you already knew that.
This is true.
Well, Dave, did you know that chickens know how to sneeze?
No.
They have the capacity to sneeze.
They cannot sneeze, Joe. They are not human beings.
No, there's a video online of a chicken, and he sneezes, and it's just a loud noise, and his feathers get all flustered and everything. It's truly an experience to watch.
Joe? I feel like next thing you're going to do is you're going to tell me that giraffes can drive cars, eels can play basketball, like, what are you trying to tell me? Pigs can fly? Huh, Joe? Are you telling me pigs can fly?
Actually,
how about bats go to court? Huh? Bats go to court.
Well, I mean, there was a news story that a courthouse in Utah had 50 bats inside of it. They just flew out in the middle of...
Just stop lying to yourself, all right? Okay? You're getting way out of hand here. This is all made up. Just move on.
Okay, never mind. You want to hear something crazy?
More crazy than that? Hit me, Joe.
All right, so... This I tell you, this is a great story right here. We always have some police crazy thing. So the police came face to face with a wild boar after a burglar alarm sent them racing into a German hardware store early last week. The animal apparently ran at full speed against the entrance door of the do-it-yourself section, and he broke a bunch of glass doors and triggered the alarm. The animal escaped, quote, this is a report from the police station, quote, without any loot and apparently unharmed.
Joe, what I don't get about this report, like at all, is the fact that the officer had to specify that the boar did not take any loot. Like, what was he going to take? A bunch of 2x4s and some hammers? Like, what's he doing, Joe?
He was going to take some cement for his brick house that he was building, right?
I just don't get it. Like, and then also, the police talk about how he was apparently unharmed. Apparently, you're either harmed or you're unharmed.
It's a boar.
There's no in between.
They should have asked him, are you harmed?
Are you okay? Did you take anything?
Also, like, what would they have done if he took anything? Like
right?
What you can't punish a boar.
You can't.
You can't put the boar in jail for stealing a hammer.
It's not like you can punish a swine like this and throw him in jail.
Swine?
Yes, Joe, swine.
Dave, why are you so upset today?
I'm pretty fired up, Joe, and I'm gonna tell you why. Aaron Carter was here last week, and I didn't get a chance to meet him.
Really?
I didn't.
You weren't one of the 200 fangirls standing outside in the rain for 2 hours to get a picture? A little Snapchat?
No, I wasn't, and I'm so upset. All right, this guy was like the soundtrack of my childhood, Joe. Mm-hmm. I just want to know if he ever met Candy. I want to know. You know what else I want to know? You know what I want to know, Joe?
What?
Does he still throw parties at his parents' house? Because I wasn't invited, man. And I thought that now being on the charge, I'd have some street cred, you know? And get invited to those parties, man.
I like how,
like,
he's like 26 years old and, like, he still sings about, like, trying not to get caught throwing a house party at his parents' house and getting grounded.
Joe,
like,
that's it.
He's 26 years old.
I don't understand why you're knocking that. I'm like 21, I'm doing the same thing.
Listen, Dave, if it makes you feel better, I met Aaron Carter. All right? I got to interview Aaron Carter. I got to take pictures with Aaron Carter. I got to hang out with him after the show. Aaron Carter was having a Twitter conversation with my sister. I totally give her a shout out. He was talking to my sister. Aaron Carter hugged me. Aaron Carter and I are basically best friends now. Does that make you feel better, Dave?
That was probably the worst thing you could have ever said in that situation. That did not make me feel better whatsoever. Whatsoever.
Dave, I can assure you that he indeed did get candy.
It wasn't for me. I'm just so emotional right now.
You're an emotional wreck, Dave. Well, listen, you can relax now because we have a great show for you today. It's going to be awesome. We have guests even bigger than Aaron Carter on the charts today.
Nick Carter.
Close. Our first guest today is the president of the University of New Haven, Mr. Stephen Kaplan himself, along with UNH alumni James Zapp. He's here. He's going to be our musical talent, going to interview him, see what he's up to after UNH life. All for you right here on the Late Night Charge. Well, we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
Welcome back to the Late Night Charge. I'd like to personally welcome our first guest for the night, President of the University of New Haven, Stephen Kaplan. How are you doing? Clapping it up.
Thank you.
You have a crew coming around.
My fan club is here.
They
get very well paid.
When you first walked in, I was like, should I say like Mr. President or like, President Kaplan? Like, I was just worried, but what do you prefer?
President Kaplan. I guess for students, there should be some formality.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to throw out first names though. So I made a mistake my freshman year. I was writing an article in my media class, and we had to research information off of you from the UNH website. And to admit, I didn't do all the research, and I saw that Kaplan Hall down at the bottom of campus. I was like, oh, building named after President Stephen Kaplan, blah, blah, blah. And my professor's like, no, that's not how it worked. So I'm just wondering how many people, daily mistake Kaplan Hall being named after you?
You would expect it to happen fairly often, and I've actually asked myself the same question. It rarely happens.
Really?
Really. Probably most people just assume, especially students, because they don't know that there was another Kaplan, a Phil Kaplan, who was president, and he was president 26 years. They probably assume, well, Kaplan's president, his name's on a building, so they probably just assume that. No one ever asks. But a funny story related to your question is a couple of years ago, I was sitting on a nice afternoon with Sam Bergamy, whose name you know from Bergamy Hall,
right,
from many other facilities on campus. And we were joking around, and at the time I was talking to him about a gift for Bergamy Hall. And he said, oh, I don't know. And I said, Sam, your name belongs on a building. Your name is on this and that, but it belongs on a building. And he said, maybe. He said, but you've done a lot for the university. Your name should be on a building. And I said, no problem. My name is already on a building. I said, the only irritant is that it says Philip S. Kaplan instead of just S. Kaplan. So I took out my cell phone. It was a Sunday afternoon, and I called Gail in my office, who's my kind of chief of staff. And everyone knows me. I'm very sarcastic, so I just figured she'd know what I was doing. And I said, Gail, I'm calling to let you know that you should talk to facilities tomorrow morning, and I want them to take Philip off of Kaplan Hall so that people now know that this is my building. And frankly, I don't like the size of the letters, so I want much larger letters. And I'd like this to be done by Wednesday. And I hung up. And Sam Bergamy looked at me and he said, wow, he said, are you crazy? He said, what makes you think she won't do that? I said, Sam, I said, everyone knows how sarcastic I am. I said, Gail's worked with me for 7 years. She knows I'm kidding. And we let it go. I came back on the next day on Monday, and on Wednesday, Gail walked to my office really nervous. And she said, I'm really sorry, but we couldn't get the letters in, and it's not going to be done until Friday. And I said, what are you talking about? I completely forgot about it. She said, the letter's for Kaplan Hall.
Wow, you should have just kept going with it, and then you would have been.
Oh, well, that's all right.
Well, you've been here for over 10 years now at UNH, and there's been a lot of growth, even from just when we started back, 3.5 years ago. So, what do you've obviously been in West Side, and you've seen the growth of Celentano and everywhere else on campus. So, what do you like seeing? Like, what's the big projects that you always want to work on to improve the campus and the buildings?
When I came here to this campus, and it's no secret, many of you can't envision it was a giant parking lot, where the rec center.
Now we have no parking.
Well, that's better than having only parking.
That's true.
Where the rec center was a parking lot, where Soundview Hall was a parking lot. When you arrived, there were trailers. There were 3 big trailers right behind the admissions building. There were trailers at the back entrance. So we've done a lot of construction in the time I've been here. And it's all been very systematic. There was deliberateness behind all of it. Yeah. The rec center was a big part of becoming a much more residential campus, creating a real student life program. The day the rec center opened, I got in there about 1 o'clock just to walk around, and it was packed with people. And it was almost eerie because everyone was using it as if it had always been there. And all I could think of is, what were all these students doing before we had this? Right? They were sitting in their rooms, they were sitting in their cars in between classes. So we've done a lot, right? We've gotten more residence halls. What needs to still be done, the big projects, we clearly need more residential space, and we're working with developers on housing near the campus that's going to be privately developed, kind of I don't want to say where it'll go because they're in the process of buying property, but really a student village where you'll come in and lease from an outside developer, but we'll
have an arrangement with them where we'll be the sole tenant. So more housing, academic buildings at the very top of the list, and what I'm doing all the fundraising for right now is a science building. I hope we'll be breaking ground in 2 years, maximum 3. And as all of you know, there's a real need for an expanded student center, for more campus life space. And that we're going to try to address some this summer by moving some people around on campus, moving some people out to Orange, and making some changes in Bartels in the campus center. But we might not grow the student body much more, at least that's not our plan, but we'll keep improving the kinds of students we're bringing here. We see it in the difference between now and just 10 years ago. And the better the student, the more demands. So even though we won't have more students, better students require more things, right? Yeah. So we'll just keep improving the infrastructure, the faculty, the staff, the support systems.
I can only imagine how it's going to look like in 3-4 years. And I slowly,
even when we come back 10 years later.
My years, it's just like slowly taking over more of the area surrounding here.
Well, and you know, when I walked in here 10.5 years ago, there was not one smart classroom on campus.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, we've come a long way. So we're just getting started.
Well, I want to talk about the most recent addition to the UNH family, the Lime Academy. When we got the news that they became our 6th college at the university, and I was very shocked. I didn't know you could just buy a school where UNH was just like put our hands out and was like, claim this is ours. So what was the process like for getting a new school added to UNH? And luckily it's so close, being in Lime.
Well, the most important thing is we wanted to buy Yale, and it was just too expensive.
Next year, put the bid down.
Raise
I'm
more
very
money
impatient, but we'll get there.
Scholarship ball.
We'll get there. In fact, Jim McCoy, as an aside, he's the vice president for enrollment, came into my office a few years ago with a big smile. He said, I have a great idea for a t-shirt. He said, we're going to have the University of New Haven, the Yale of the West.
I like it.
Haven.
I like it.
Right?
I like it.
Because Stanford always says it's the Harvard of the West. And I looked at him and I said, you realize if we do that, Yale's going to sue us. Getting back to Lime. We didn't buy Lime. They were financially stressed. They were trying to operate a very small, very fine, high-end art school without the resources they need to do it. So picture a small college. You still need a president, right? You still need a financial aid officer. You still need student life. You still need a registrar. So they had a 3-to-1 ratio of administrative staff to faculty. So they couldn't continue to survive like that. So we cut the president, we cut out 2/3 of the staff, we right-sized them, we basically took them over. We've absorbed them into our operations, we provide a lot of support for them, and already it's taking off. Their enrollments got much better this year. They're on a trajectory to grow significantly. The students they brought in this year are an incredibly talented group. They'll be participating in things here on campus, they'll be going to Prado, they'll become part of the student body here. Some of them want to come here and play on the athletic teams.
All right, well.
That's really cool.
I'm excited. We're just going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have more with President Kaplan, so stay tuned. This is Late Night Charge.
Good job.
Together.
Together. Together.
Together.
Together, we can save lives from cancer.
This year, nearly 1.5 million people will hear the words, "You have cancer."
You have cancer.
You have cancer.
And there's a good chance that some of them are people that we know and love.
Here at the Late Night Charge, we have chosen to create a world with less cancer and more birthdays.
Where cancer never steals another year from anybody's life.
By helping the American Cancer Society's work.
With our help, the American Cancer Society saves lives and creates more birthdays by helping people stay well.
Helping people get well. By finding cures and by fighting back.
The American Cancer Society has fought for every birthday threatened by every cancer in every community.
Will you join us?
Will you join us?
Will you join us?
We hope you will support us in our effort to reach our goal.
Because nearly everyone has been touched by cancer in some way.
If you would like to help us fight cancer or donate to the cause, please go to main.acsevents.org/go-to/late night charge. Thank you, and we hope you will join our team and make a donation today.
Welcome back to Late Night Charge. We're still here with President Kaplan. So we looked you up on the internet as we do, and we saw you have a lot of ties to Germany. So you spent a lot of years in Germany.
Yeah.
Your wife is German. We also found out your stepfather was a producer on Schindler's List. Is that true?
Yeah.
So all these Germany ties, and then I heard that you took Italian as a class here at UNH.
I did, yeah.
So what made you, do you take a lot of classes at UNH, or do you have any favorites or anything?
No, that was the only class. My wife and I, well, what happened was when I said we were opening the campus in Prato, within a couple of days my wife came home and said she had signed up for Italian. She was taking, and does take art classes here. And I said, well, if you're taking Italian, I will, and because I'd love to retire in Italy. So we took 3 Italian classes. I did very well in the first one. I did pretty well in the second one, and in the third one it started getting advanced and took a lot of time, and I'm pretty sure I dropped out halfway and just I ended up auditing.
You took the W.
Took a nice college move.
So that's the only class I've taken here as a student, but I was enrolled as a student, and my wife almost got me thrown out of the university as a student because during the first exam we were sitting next to each other and we shared a book, but the book obviously wasn't open during the exam. And both of us are very competitive and very meticulous, so we were the last ones in the classroom. Everyone else did their answers and walked out. And I was still finishing mine, and she got up and she looked over and she said, "That's wrong." And I said, "No, it's not." And she reached over and changed something on it. Right in front of the professor. And I said, "You can't do that. I'm going to get caught cheating here, right?"
I mean, I feel like the professor, he might have turned an eye,
The professor looked the other way. So then, do you have a minute for a quick, since you asked the question about, so as a student, we were signed up for the online textbook and homework and so forth, and I wanted to see what my grade was. So a couple of days later, I went in and I clicked on my account, and I saw that I had a B+, and I was really aggravated. I thought I had an A. So I had an 87, I think it was, 86.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Well, hold on. So I then thought, this is infuriating, and I knew my wife's password because I'd helped her set it up, so I went into her account. And she had a 96. It was a fairly high grade.
Wow.
So I was really angry. Because I thought that I...
She changed your answer to get it wrong, right?
No. So I let it go. What was I going to do, right? And the next day, I had a board meeting. And these are all these sophisticated supporters of the university, graduates. And during a lunch break, someone came up, and I was talking to a few board members, and someone came up and asked me how the Italian class was going. And I said, "Funny you should ask." I said, "I got my first B in my life on a test the other day." And one of the other board members turned to me and he said, "Oh, come on." He said, "You can't tell me you've never gotten a B." And I said, "No, I haven't." I said, "I've gotten a lot of C's and D's and F's, but never got a B."
Never a B.
So it turned out, the final piece of this is that I was looking at my homework grade. I wasn't the test.
Not the test.
And when we got the test back, I had a 97 and she had a 96 or 95 or whatever. So the question that she changed for me was the one that gave me a leg up on her.
Wow.
That's the last time my wife helped me in the class.
And then you had to withdraw afterwards, right? A little coincidence, but I wanted to talk about Charging Forward because that's the big new initiative that the university is putting on. So could you just explain just like the bare bones of what Charging Forward is and how it's going to be effective for the next couple of years?
We examined every program, academic, non-academic, everything we do. We put metrics in place so that everything was treated equally in terms of productivity. It was to look at which programs are accomplishing what they're supposed to be doing and which ones aren't. And it was to look at really which programs long-term we wanted to invest in, which ones we wanted to maintain, and which ones we might want to downsize and even over time eliminate. And now we're in the process. A memo went out today, which could be quite controversial because we're looking at a few restructurings. Right now, nothing at the undergraduate level, a few graduate programs that will probably phase out. At least that's what we're looking at right now. And people see that and they think, well, they're trying to save money. This has nothing to do with saving money. The university is in very strong financial condition. It's looking at our priorities. What do we want to be going forward? What do we want to be known for? If you take your major here, right? This is a very strong major. It's a very popular program. Nationally, there's great demand. You know what the resource needs are. We need to upgrade all of your equipment. That's $1 million. We need to renovate the space. We need more faculty. We want to do all those things because this program was seen as one under the category, right? Enhance, strengthen. There are other programs that it's not that they're not good.
That's good to hear. Right?
Yeah, that's good to know.
But you would say that if you were in a program that maybe was being downsized. On the other hand, we're not taking, no one would be, if a program's eliminated, it doesn't mean the students suddenly don't have a class. Anything that's phased out gets phased out while the students are here completing their degree. It just means we wouldn't be admitting new students. And it doesn't mean those programs like the ones we're talking about at the graduate level aren't good programs, or that there isn't a need for them, or that they don't do good things. It's just, as a university, there's only so much we can do. And we have to prioritize what we really want to be good at, and that's what Charging Forward is. Where are we going to make significant investments in the coming years to focus on what we really want to be known at and what we want to be best at?
Okay. I feel like sometimes you, as the president, as the leader and the face of the university, sometimes you get a bad rep where people say, "Oh, this was Kaplan's decision," or
happens all the time.
It happens all the time.
When I go home, it happens all the time.
So how does it feel sometimes when you have people that you work with the board of governors and professors and alumni and faculty and everybody, so it's all a collective unit, but you're the face, so everyone thinks, "Oh, well, this is just Kaplan being Kaplan," or so. How is that relationship between working with the students, working with the staff side of it, working with alumni and all the money, and trying to balance everything, and at the end of the day, it still ends up on you?
In any job, let alone in a leadership position, you do what you think is right? You have to be honest, you have to be straightforward, and you have to believe in what you do, and people are going to say what they're going to say, and you have to develop a thick skin. I mean, sometimes it aggravates me, most of the time, you have to have a good sense of humor about anything in life, and most of the time the stuff really gets me laughing. And people are often surprised. They'll tell me some terrible rumor, and I'll start laughing. And they'll say, "But that's all about you." And I'll say, "But I know it's not true." In the end, I just had a lunch with one of the deans, and we talked about some things, and she saw I was getting visibly angry. And I don't get angry in the sense of I don't get angry at people. What really gets my juices going, as they say, are things that affect all of you. I mean, I do whatever I can to improve the situation of the students here and to make sure that you get the best education you can, with the best faculty, the best support, the best facilities, and that you ultimately get the best jobs, right? And lead the most meaningful lives. Right. And anything that gets in the way of that aggravates me. The gossip I couldn't care less about. That's about me, and I don't care. Yeah. And sometimes they're right. In fact, someone recently asked my wife what it's like to be married to a president. And she gave a very nice answer about the fact that I wasn't always a president. We've been together almost 40 years. And she said, "What would you have said?" And I said, "I would have said it's rather humbling." But I was kidding.
Well,
because I'm only the president here. I'm not at home.
Not at home. I just want to thank you for coming on. It's been pretty fun talking to you and getting to know you.
Great, enjoyed it too.
Yeah. All right.
Nice show. Good job.
We look forward to the next 10 years of when we come back as alumni and seeing the growth of how the school has changed.
I always tell people I went to UCLA and they'd never let me in again. You want to help this become an institution that becomes so strong that you might not be able to get in. I'm being sarcastic, of course.
Right.
But it's the kind of place you want to send your kids.
Yeah, well.
And I think that's what we've become, the kind of place that attracts really good young people who are going to do great things and send their kids here because we're going to continue to be a great school.
Maybe we can come back here in 10 years and do the same thing. We'll take some Italian classes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bring your wife and she'll help you cheat.
All right, well, when we come back, we're going to have James Zapp. Stay tuned. This is Late Night Charge.
Things get a little harder, picking up the pace seems like a struggle. I'm into win and I've got this far. To stop is not my thing, I'm reaching for the stars. Breaks me, makes me every day stronger. Stay a little longer, you can see how I conquer now. Bricks on bricks, I've been building things, carving out paths you have never seen. Ooh, possible. Ooh, possible. Ooh, come on, make it possible. Help me so. Come home, make it possible. 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 Possible. Come home, make it possible. Possible, possible, yeah. Come home, make it possible. Make it possible. Come home, 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 make it possible. Possible, possible, possible. Come home, make it possible. Come home, make it possible. Come home, make it possible. Come home. Come home. Come home, make it possible.
Welcome back to Late Night Charge. Please welcome our next guest, one of my best friends in the entire universe, James Zapp. I don't know your middle name.
Justin.
James Justin Zapp.
Thank you.
So,
best friend in the universe, huh?
I said one up. You're easily top 15. James.
Top 15, I'll take it.
If we had MySpace still, you'd be top 8.
All right, I like it.
I might have to extend it to top 24, fit you in. But so, the thing that I really want to know, when you're president of the University of New Haven, what are you gonna do?
Make sure there's more parking. It's hard to get parking now. Like coming here, I was trying to find a spot during his interview. I think.
Is that your only? It took you that long during the interview. Is that your only initiative? You don't want to change anything else?
No.
You can just leave. Peace.
Hey, parking spots for days. We're gonna take up all the houses, wreck them. Parking spots.
That's it.
I like
Boom. He's like, we had too many parking spots. Now we're going back. We're going retro.
Aggressive.
And weekly interviews on the Late Night Charge. So that's cool.
Have you noticed the new logo?
I have. I was checking it out.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty nice. I like
we got a new logo. We got some scruff going on. I see you've been doing no shave for the rest of your life.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun. I like growing out a beard. I think I have a fat face, so like when I grow it makes me look like I don't have a fat face or I'm hiding my fat face. And also like it's really cool because guys will come up to you and be like, "Yo, dude, that thing is awesome." Girls will come up to you like, "That looks like punishment. Like, that looks terrible. It looks like it hurts."
You can style it. You can give yourself like those.
I can curl it up.
Curls going right along the side.
Like you're like tying girls up to train tracks and.
I've got a top hat and a monocle for some reason too. Yes.
I see you also have some very bold fashion choices right now.
Yeah, I went with the flannel wrapped around the waist, half kilt.
You do. I remember we're both in Sigma Chi, and we went to formal together.
Sigma Chi.
Not together.
Together.
Sigma Chi.
We didn't go together. We happened to be at the same formal at the same time, and you went in the kilt. And I'm not. I don't know if I want to know. I hope you had stuff underneath the kilt.
So originally I did. I had these like, if anyone's ever seen like Arrested Development, I had like the Tobias cutoffs.
The never nudes.
And yeah, the never nudes. And I thought it'd be funny, like in the middle of the night, like we're out on the deck, and I take them off. So I took them off, and I'm like whipping them around, like, yeah. So my friend took them and he threw them into the ocean. So actually, it was pretty invigorating after that. Like
very freeing.
It was like eye-opening.
It was a life-changing experience.
Yeah, like if I wore skirts the rest of my life, I would never wear anything underneath it. Like it's.
Hopefully, you don't have to wear skirts for the rest of your life.
I don't know. We'll find.
I mean, if I see the beard, but. So you graduated 2 years ago.
2 years ago,
right?
yeah.
So
what the hell am I doing with my life?
Well, that's what I'm asking. We're still here in college. What's the real world like? Give us the scoop.
I'll know when I'll tell you when I find out what it's like. No, it's cool. I mean, I'm just trying to be a musician, so just been growing out beards and trying to look grungy. It's a lot of work to make it look like you just got up.
Really?
Yeah. No, I've been playing around, playing Boston, New York. I'm thinking about going to Tennessee, hopefully in December. Visit Kevin Becker, who works down there.
Good guy.
In the studio, Blackbird Studios, and hopefully going to visit him. And yeah, just been playing around wherever it'll have me. You know, we go from like an awesome gig opening up from a band to playing in a nursing home.
Hey,
So,
a gig is a gig.
Gig is a gig.
Hey, as Aaron Carter would say, a gig is a gig.
Yeah. Somebody throwing their underwear on the stage is the same anywhere, I guess. Right?
Whether you're in a nursing home or you're out there
or in Madison Square Garden, it's still just panties.
It's still it's the same thing. It's it.
Oh, it's been. I've missed you. Where you been, man?
I've been a rapper. I just told you.
I know, but
like,
we worked together on orientation staff. And
we did.
I remember when my freshman year, you know, you were one of my orientation leaders, one of the first faces ever met at the school. And
I'm so sorry.
We worked together, and I remember you're from Ridgefield, Connecticut, and you always did the Ridge. How'd you come up with such a? And everyone, the whole staff,
PowerPoint.
Every time you go, hey, I'm James Zapp. I'm from Ridgefield, Connecticut, the Ridge, and everyone. It was so simple, but so easy. How'd you come up with it?
So I just started telling people, like, you know, I was, you know, like I grew up on the streets, like it was hard living. Ridgefield's like the whitest town ever. Like nothing bad ever like happens in Ridgefield. It's almost like boring growing up there. And I came here and I was like really excited to be at school and like, you know, with so much diversity and everything, and it was awesome. And I was just telling my friends, I was like, oh yeah, it was the streets, and I'd like do this like in the Ridge, we call it the Ridge. And everybody started doing like the Ridge.
The Ridge, people who weren't even from Ridgefield.
And then we had to stop doing it because people thought it was like a gang sign. And yeah, no, it's yeah, the Ridge is where dreams go to die. So that's how
Okay.
Sounds like motivation for a song right there.
That's it.
Well, speaking of, you're gonna play some original music for us today,
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna
So
play a
you
song.
wanna give us a little background or anything?
Yeah, so I'm going to play a song I wrote about a year ago. I was at a pub crawl, bar crawl, whatever you call it. And, you know, we're out there, we're drinking a little bit, legally, obviously we're all of age. And we're drinking, and this girl gave me her phone number. I was like, all right, cool. And I'm already past the point where like I have any idea what's going on in my life. And I decided to text her like 40 times, and she didn't respond to any of them. So I thought the next correct move... Power move. So I thought the next correct move would be to call her.
Of course.
Completely wrong move. Absolutely awful. So then I decided to call her again.
Right.
Which that didn't work out. And I woke up the next morning on my friend's floor, and man, I just... explicit out of my mouth. Just really long to shoot.
I can't wait to hear this in the musical version.
Yeah.
So we're gonna cut to break, and when we come back, we're gonna have the one and only James Zapp perform his original song. So stay tuned. This is Late Night Charge.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Sorry to interrupt the Late Night Charge, but I'm here with a great opportunity for you. Do you like sports? Do you want to be part of all that Charger action? Well, then come on down to Bergami 1 at 6:30 on Tuesday night so you can learn how to call all the bump set spikes of women's volleyball, all the air assault of Chargers football, and most importantly, the flying headers of women's soccer. That's Bergami 1, 6:30 on Tuesdays. Now get back to that Late Night Charge and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Late Night Charge. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome performing Drunk and Alone, the one and only James Zapp.
Can't get to sleep, you're always on my mind. I just wanna talk to you, but my words are always tied. There's something about you, something I can't describe. But I got your number, so I'm gonna try. But too much to drink, the room is spinning black. I sent you some signals, but you never sent them back. I talked to all your friends, and they said take a step back and don't try too hard. Please tell me if I'm coming on too strong, 'cause I don't wanna hurt you, I don't wanna do you no wrong. Blacking out on my friend's floor, blowing up your phone. Come keep me company, 'cause I'm drunk and alone. I know how I look, I'm not the best in show, so I stick to my strengths and my friend Jose Cuervo. Why do I do this? know how my story goes. Is this your number? Please tell me if I'm coming on too strong. 'Cause I don't wanna hurt you, I don't wanna do you no wrong. Blacking out on my friend's floor, blowing up your phone. Come keep me company, 'cause I'm drunk and alone. In 6 hours, what are the chances you never got my messages? And I cower to the words I know I'll never say when I'm sober. Please restrain me with your cold shoulder. Please restrain me, 'cause I'm not getting any older. Please restrain me. I like the way you wear your clutch. Please restrain me before I say too much. The sun is burning, shines right through the window blinds. My drunken stupor is passed with sleep and time. My memory is blurry, I can't recall last night. And I open up my eyes. I'm sorry that I came on too strong. I didn't mean to hurt you, didn't want to do you no wrong. Waking up on my friend's floor all alone. Next time I go out to drink, I won't touch my phone.
All right. All right. Awesome song. Thanks for coming on,
Thanks for having me
James.
on, Joe. Appreciate it.
Hey, let's hang out. It's been a while. Let's catch up. Let's get Kaplan. You know, have a trio. It'll be a great time.
It'll be good.
So I want to thank James. I want to thank James for coming on. I want to thank President Kaplan. We had a great day. Dave, of course. I guess. Thank you. And everyone watching. We'll see you next time. This is Late Night Charge. Have a great night.
This day, tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it that way.
She like grabs a chair and like twists it around and like sits like this on this.
Tell me why it ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why it ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it that way. Now I can see that we're falling apart from the way that we used to be. Yeah. That was it. That was the take. Now we're done. We're done, right?